A sunny Sunday morning here in the Italian capital as we welcome you to the second round of the 13th season of the Italian F4 competition here at the Vallelunga circuit. Well, the sun is shining. We are halfway through halfway through our weekend here. The first of our races took place yesterday, and thus far, the German team, US Racing, have dominated with victories to Luca Samalisto and Ed Robertson yesterday. 3 group races. This is the final wedge, and then the final 36 to line up on the grid for the final race this afternoon. Robinson took his first victory in the Italian Championship yesterday. He starts on pole position. Just behind is the pole, Alex Ruta, who's speaking with
Hello
Laura Cola.
everyone, here we are with Alex Ruta. Alex, an excellent qualifying and a fast car, but a bad luck yesterday. So how can you win the race ahead of the US Racing cars?
Yeah, bad luck yesterday. We have to start good, start well. Hopefully gain some positions at the start and then just push from there, and we see how it goes.
Thank you.
Alex Ruta, the pole for the Dutch Van Amersfoort Racing Team. Car 3 starts out of grid 4. He was quick yesterday, holding down second place in the first race until an incident forced him into pit lane. The right of your screen, there's Luca Samalisto. He won the first race yesterday and is surely a favourite. One of which there is no clear favourite for this year's championship, but the Finn. He did take the win in the first race yesterday. Robinson starting alongside, slightly obscured by the safety car. But firstly, let's hear from Artem Severukian.
Hi Artem, nice to have you back. Your championship starts now after missing Misano. So how do you feel this morning for race 3?
I feel motivated. Like we had the pace yesterday in the race 1, but I got a puncture. Now I will try to make everything properly, clean, and get some nice points for the team and for my championship.
Good luck.
Great to have Artem back on the grid. He is a super talent starting on the third row of the grid for the team who won this title back in 2016 with the Argentine Marcus Siebert. Yes, the US Racing Team, they won the title in 2023 at this circuit with Kasper Stuka, and they've won the first 2 of the 4 races here this weekend. One contender who was taken out of contention with a puncher yesterday, Nicolo Marcagnani, who did take a race win at Misano. The Roman here in Rome starts on the inside of row 3, and Nicolo is down on the grid speaking with Laura.
So Nicolo, great race yesterday, a shame about the ending. So what can we expect this morning?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to have a clean race, no crashes, just finish the race to bring home some points, and then we see for the final.
Thank you.
Highly rated Ferrari junior driver Nicolo Marcagnani, a puncher yesterday after an incident with Andy Consani, who incidentally was given a 25-second penalty for his involvement in that incident, which saw Nicolo Marcagnani into pit lane for a new rear tyre. A puncher. He did finish the race, but way down in 27th place. The sun is shining here north of the Italian capital. This is Vallelunga, the circuit which started life as a dirt racing track for horses, would you believe, just 5 years after the end of World War II. 4,085 metres, FIA Grade 2 circuit, which was a popular Formula 1 test track until about a decade and a half ago. Anthony Davison holding the lap record here at Vallelunga. Let's go back down to Laura, who's speaking with Ian Kralik.
Hi Ian, so how do you feel about the race this morning?
The race yesterday was quite good, and we just feel confident now to go forward. I will try my best. The team is doing a good job for now, and I will just give my best to bring good points and maybe a trophy home.
Thank you.
Ian Kralik, the German driver for the German team, was elevated to the podium after that aforementioned penalty for Andy Consani. Crossed the line in P4 did Kralik. Unfortunately did not have the pleasure of standing on the podium, but did get the trophy at about 10 o'clock last night. Ian Kralik finishing at P3 in race 2. Speaking of which, let's check out what happened yesterday here at Vallelunga. Race 1 saw Lucas Samalisto sweep around the outside and race into the lead as Kenzo Craigie and Pedro Lima made contact. Lima into the wall. The Brazilian was out. Severukian in scintillating form. Alexander Ruta in second place as Nicolo Macagnani built up a gap of 3.5 seconds. Samalisto racing away to win race 1 yesterday. In race 2, Macagnani from the inside second row of the grid. Down the inside, took Robinson for the race lead. Seemed destined for the race victory. Noah Killian, last year's Australian champion, into the wall. The two Brazilians, Toniolo and Lima, taking each other out. And then this, the move of the weekend thus far. Around the outside of Consani, around the outside of Macagnani. Robinson from grid 3 goes through to take the lead. And from there, the British Spaniard raced away to take his first victory in the Italian Championship. So there is Robinson, slightly obscured to the bottom left of your screen. His first victory in the Italian series. This is Ed, car 9 out of grid 1. Both the Spanish and Union Jack flags on his helmet. The Brit from Mallorca in Spain for the team from the outskirts of Cologne in Germany. Us racing here at Vallelunga. Yes, this historic circuit. Just 5 years after the end of World War II, it raced into life as a harness racing horse gravel track, would you believe? As we look at Lucas Samalisto, race 1 yesterday by his side. Chief race mechanic for Us Racing, Miguel Garayoya. Spanish race engineer for the German team alongside his Finnish driver. Us Racing on the front row of the grid, which looks like this. Ed on pole, Luca out of grid 2. Watch David Walter. 2 podiums at Misano for the Maffei Racing team. And Alex Ruta, who spoke to Laura Cola on the grid. Starting out of grid 4, Nicolo Macagnani, the Roman here in Rome, alongside Artem Severukian. Ian Kralik, his first podium, albeit belatedly last night. Starting alongside another Us Racing driver, his Ukrainian teammate, Alexander Savinkov. Out of grid 9, the Swedish, Italian, New Zealand driver from Monaco, Oscar Petol for BHM Racing. Adi Bansal, the Indian, Kostoya car 1 for Prema Racing Team, the McLaren Junior. He is alongside the former Junior World Kart Racing champion, Kenzo Craigie. Bernardo, it's Becco Bernaldi alongside Roman Kamyab, a brilliant debut for the Persian Brit. Ludovico Busso, the Sicilian, and Levi Arn for Gensa Motorsport out of grid 16. Elia Weiss out of grid 17 alongside Bondarev, who's back on 18th and struggling this weekend. Nicolas Cortez, the Mexican, starts alongside the Estonian Roland Kuklane, also for PHM Racing. Grid 21 sees the American from Colorado, Andre Rodriguez, for Cram Motorsport. Jacopo Martinez, Il Lecese. He's ahead of Nud Nielsen with a storming drive for Real Racing yesterday. 26 to 10th. Igor Polak, then Augustus Toniolo. Luba Roykov, the Trident Motorsport duo. Ginevra Panzeri for the PA Racing team. Vittorio Orsini for Antonelli Motorsport needs a good result this morning, as does Fabrizio Fogazza, the young Brazilian rookie who had an unfortunate crash yesterday behind the safety car, trying to avoid the second Kiwi, Emily Cotti. Anthony Davison, or Ant Davison, holds the unofficial lap record of this 4 kilometre Vallelunga circuit back in 2007, 2008 I think it was, in that ferocious Honda, a 112.8. Robinson, pole position with a 134.370. So the field set off on their formation lap. A beautiful sunny Sunday morning here at the Long Valley Circuit. This is Vallelunga. It is the third qualifying race before the final 36 line up on the grid this afternoon. 43 entries. 43 drivers from 28 different nations around the world. We are missing our 3 F1 Academy drivers, Rafael Ferreira, Peyton Westcott, the Californian. And also Emma Felbermeyer, who are racing in action, as you know, over in Quebec, Montreal, on the other side of the Atlantic. We'll see them back for the next round of the championship, which is at Monza, the Temple of Speed, the home of the Italian Grand Prix. That is the next round of the championship, coming up in just about 1 month from now. The second round of the series we kicked off at Misano 2 weeks ago. This is Vallelunga for round 2. Yes, Monza on June 21, round 4 at the home of the Italian MotoGP, Mugello on the last weekend of July, and then at Imola the first weekend of September. Misano on the 20th of September, and we crown the champion on the first day of November, just before the start of winter time. That's the first day of November at Mugello. The 13th season of the world's most competitive junior car racing series, presented by the Automobile Club of Italy, together with WSK Promotion. Walter goes through in the first of the Maffei racing cars, car 83, 2 podiums at Misano for the Swiss team with the Ethiopian roots, with their Danish driver. Yes, that is correct. Denny and Christian Maffei, both born in Addis Ababa, the former Italian colony, formerly Abyssinia, now known as modern-day Ethiopia. Team based in Switzerland with their Danish driver. Watch DW on the second row of the grid. The US Racing drivers on the front row. This is Robinson, who took pole position on Friday evening, and his first victory in the Italian Championship yesterday afternoon. Ginevra Panzeri lines up in car 64 for the PA racing team. Reigning teams champion Prema, who won the title last year with Kin Nakamura Bertha, and the year prior with Fast Freddie Slater. We welcome you to the eternal city of Rome this sunny Sunday morning at Vallelunga, race 3, round 2, the Italian F4 Championship. We race. Great start from Samalisto. Slight hesitation there from Robinson. The US Racing drivers go 1-2 as they head down the field for the first time. Contact between Maccagnani and David Walter and Ruta, who takes out the right rear of Maccagnani. No! The Roman in trouble again for the second time. Maccagnani comes together with Ruta. His morning is over potentially. His weekend is done. Samalisto with the race lead from Robinson. Walter has incredibly, somehow, miraculously continued on. Costoya off the road as well. It is kicking off. It is a wild start here this morning at Vallelunga. Samalisto, Robinson. Walter is incredibly still there. Severukian goes through. Maccagnani, what a disaster for the Roman, has come together with Alexander Ruta. They're parked on the side of the circuit. Costoya coming together with Roman Kamyab. Fogazza has gone through. Look at the lead from the US Racing drivers. The track is still green for the moment. There's Repetto, Kenzo Craigie with a good start. The safety car comes out onto the circuit inevitably. Niccolò Maccagnani, one of the favourites for the championship, coming together with Walter and Ruta off the start. Maccagnani is out. Absolute despair from the Prema Racing team. Potentially, his weekend is over. Samalisto is the race leader from his teammate Robinson. Walter in third. We watch this. So Maccagnani coming across the front of Walter ever so slightly. That's Alexander Ruta, the Van Amersfoort Racing driver. Potentially Ruta is out as well. Turned around, picks up the right rear. So Maccagnani had potentially just almost scraped through, albeit into the gravel. F4 team manager Kasper Konchovic to the right of your screen with the sunglasses, absolutely distraught. Ian Kralik into the gravel as well there. Severukin going on by. He's gone through to P4. Incredibly, Walter is still there in P3. Kostoya and Kamyab into the grass, into the gravel. They've both come into pit lane with damage. Both the Prema Racing teammates. This is Roman Kamyab in car 4. The Prema Racing team go to work. The car, thankfully for the young Brit, is still straight. He goes back out, albeit down in 26th place. He's still in the race. His teammate Kostoya is out. What a disaster for the McLaren Junior. This is Nicolo Macagnani, the Ferrari Junior, on his home circuit. We watch this again. So Walter, yeah, okay. Without prejudice, you saw exactly what happened. It's not for us to judge. We're not driving these cars. Down into the first corner, the slightest contact, they're already doing over 200 kilometers an hour. Right rear to front left. Regardless, Macagnani is out. That cannot be changed. Ruta is out. Potentially their weekend is over. Kostoya likewise. This is Nicolo to the left. Alexander to the right. Two of the fastest drivers here this weekend. Their weekend may be over. Kostoya in pit lane. 5 times WSK International Champion, an incredible talent. Talent is the Galician from the northwest of Spain, the McLaren Junior car 1 out. Roman Kamyab has rejoined down into 26th position. So just reminding you, 43 drivers here this weekend. The 3 group races, just the final 36 to race the final this afternoon. 27th and last place yesterday for Nicolo Macagnani. A DNF this morning. I'm no mathematician, but that is not a good point score. 7 drivers will miss the final. At least one decent result needed. And Nicolo Macagnani, the highly rated Roman, the Ferrari Junior, well, he's got nothing thus far out of the weekend and will need a mathematical miracle to make it through to the final this afternoon. Speaking of miracles, Walter is still in the race and in position 3. This is Elia Weiss going through, the German. He's in P13. What about Nielsen? The Real Racing driver, they do have a quick racing car. The Romanian-Italian team, Real Racing of Constantine Railano, 26th to 10th yesterday and 23rd into 14th for the Dane here this morning. There is Nielsen, car 41, just going by ahead of Martinez. Good start also for Ilechese. Cortez Bernoldi, the Mexican, from the Brazilian, Roland Kuklane. There's Roland going through. There's Igor Polak, the second Murphy Racing car. Ginevra Panzetti going through. Better start for Vittorio Orsini, car 88. The Italian for the Antonelli Motorsport team. So let's just recap. Samalisto, Robinson, no problem for the Us Racing duo. It was Samalisto who got the jump on his pole-sitting teammate Robinson. Luca with the race lead from Robinson. Walter still in the race. Just, despite making contact with Macagnani. See Kenzo Craigie going through in car 34. This is Oscar Repetto. Samalisto, Robinson, Walter's third. Severukian is up in a P4 from Ian Kralik, Adi Bansel. A storming start from the Indian, Oscar Repetto. Car 6 in P7. And the first rookie, Levian. In P8 from Kenzo Craigie, Savinkov. Buso Bondarev has avoided the carnage. This is Roland going through in 47. So Bondi's up to 12 from Weiss. Great start from Lud Nielsen on your screen. That's the Real Racing car. And Martinez into P15, the final points paying position. Ruta is out, Macagnani is out. Not only from the race here this morning, but potentially from round 2 of the championship, the final this afternoon. Kostoya also the same applies and will be nervously waiting on. Roman coming up into pit lane, but has rejoined. The car is still straight. He's back on track on debut in the Italian Championship in car 4. He's just behind Andre Rodriguez. And a better start this morning for the Brazilian Fabrizio Fogazza. A wild start here this morning. Samalisto, Robinson, 1-2 again for the US Racing team. Safety car in this lap. That's the news we wanted to see. Our race director, Mr. Dino Lodala. Assistant race director, Miss Susanna Coletta. Driver advisors, Mr. Rino Mastronardi, former international racer himself, both in Europe and the United States of America, Gabriele Lancieri, and of course, driving standards advisor and multi-international champion, former Formula 3000 driver, representing the Automobile Club of Italy, former Italian GT champion as well, is Mr. Raffaele Gianmaria. The Lamborghini Urus accelerates out of sight rather rapidly, I might say. Samalisto, Robinson, Walter. There is David on the back of Ed. It's Luca in P1. Walking pace through the slowest corner in the championship. That's no exaggeration in racing speed. It's 58 kilometers an hour. And now Luca goes. Great restart. The green flag flies. Now they cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line into the Roma Curva. Look at the restart already from Samalisto back to Robinson. Walter Severukian. The green flag flies, and once again we race here in Rome. Down into Chimney 1, the first green racing lap after the track has been cleared. Samalisto, Robinson, Walter for the Maffei Racing team over the debris on the side of the circuit, which was thrown up by Kamiup and Kostoya on the first lap of the race. Robinson down the inside. That's not an attack on his teammate, it's defense, because Walter looks good for the Maffei Racing team here this morning. Severukian, Ian Kralik, the US Racing drivers. 1, 2 and 5 with the young German. Ari Barnsley in P6, the top rookie is Levian, who's got by the Kiwi, Oscar Repetto. That may change because there's Oscar, who himself is under attack. From KC, it's Kenzo Craigie, Savinkov, Puso, Bondarev, Elia Weiss, Nielsen in P14 in car 41. Craigie up the inside. Kenzo goes on through. The Mercedes Junior picks up a place. Nice pass from the 2014 Junior World Kart Racing champion. So at the end of the first full green lap, Lucas Samalisto with a race lead of almost 1 second over his teammate. And Craigie, Repetto, Savinkov. Look at the lead from Luca back to Ed. Side by side, Repetto down the hill. Savinkov tries to attack, and the Russian-Ukrainian goes on through. Also for the US Racing team. Samalisto, Robinson, Walter. That was a fantastic pass. Savinkov to take Repetto. And still Robinson, race 2 winner yesterday, under attack from Maffei on the outside. This is the move that Robinson did yesterday. Walter was obviously watching, goes off track into the grass and loses the place. Severukian just behind. Was very briefly on the outside on our timing screen through into P2, but look at the lead now from Lucas Samalisto. Severukian for Gensa Motorsport. They're in positions 4 and 6, also with Levian, who's the top rookie. So close to the back of Walter goes Severukian in car 23, also racing in the SMP Russian Championship. race winner already in Formula 4, second year in the Italian series. There's Nielsen going through, having a fabulous run here this morning. Car 41 in position 14. We'll check the gap. It was 0.95 of a second last time around. This is the race leader. This is surely the championship favourite, with Macagnani now potentially out of race 2, or round 2 I should say. Macagnani with a lead of 1.2 seconds. Robinson in second. Walter. It's Kralling on the back of Severukian. Levian just behind. Ian Krallig around the outside. What a move! Goes on through. Fantastic pass for the young German. Us Racing 1, 2 and 4. Only split by DW in P3. Severukian back to 5. The Jensen Motorsport duo, remember the team of Andreas and Esther Jenser. They won this title with the Argentine Marcus Siebert back in 2016 when he beat Mick Schumacher to the title. Severukian though, back down the inside as Krallig goes off onto the virgin, gets airborne dangerously once again. Krallig on the outside. And now off the road. That great work is starting to come undone in car 62. Slight contact! And that may well be the end of the race. Competitively though, you can see the Jensen Motorsport car is not handling. He may well have a puncher and pulls straight into pit lane. Does so. Krallig does likewise. They were racing brilliantly. They both pull into pit lane. Repetto down the inside of Bussol meanwhile. Krallig into pit lane. Off the circuit goes Savinkov. So Samuelisto with the race lead from Robinson. There's Nielsen racing brilliantly here this morning. Not Nielsen for Real Racing Team. They've got a fast car and a fast driver. Nielsen races up into P11 after starting from grid 23. Superb for the young Dane who did not have radio contact yesterday. Not sure if they've resolved that yet. As we see Bondarev keeping car 27 clean. He's up into position 9. The highly rated Williams Jr. There's the Ukrainian, the former WSK and European champion. Bondarev. Elia Weiss just behind. Repetto, the Kiwi just ahead. This just a moment ago. Severukian down the inside. Slight contact. Not at this point. That was Krallig off the road. From there, he lost the momentum. And again, went wide, did Ian Krallig. Kenzo Craigie on the outside. Just loses the front right. The wing goes flying down into pit lane. That was Savinkov going off circuit, but bringing it back on track. So Samuelisto with a 1 second lead from Ed Robinson. Kenzo Craigie up into P5. And the top rookie is the Mercedes Junior. Ari Barnsell, car 46 through to P6. This is the Ludovico Pulso, car 29. The Sicilian. Walter still on the podium, potentially his third podium of the series. Still the debris on the circuit after cars running off track multiple times in the third of 4 races here this weekend. So let's recap briefly, if we can. We take a moment in what has been a wild race 3 here this morning at Vallelunga. Samuelisto 1 second clear of his teammate Robinson. They've split the victories thus far this weekend. This is Walter in third place. Severukian trying to get up onto the podium for Jensen Motorsport. Kenzo Craigie, superb is KC, P5. The top rookie is the Mercedes Junior. Ari Barnsell, brilliant again from the Indian. In 6 from Bussol. Both for the US Racing Team. Oscar de Petel for PHM Racing. Bondarev is up into P9 from Weiss. Brilliant from the Real Racing driver Nud Nielsen. 23rd to 11th. And on the rookie podium at the moment. Walter goes through. Savinkov, Nicolas Cortez, great recovery for the Mexican after a crash in race 1 yesterday. Martinez and Menino do Brasil, Beco Bernoldi, the final points-paying position for the Trident Motorsport team in 15th at the moment. Walter Severukian fighting for the final podium. If you're just joining us, the Roman Niccolò Macagnani here in Rome, out on the first corner of the first lap. Contact with Walter, who's still in the race. Ruta is also out. Costoya parked in pit lane. Roman coming up into the pits, did rejoin, but has now retired from his debut weekend in the Italian F4 Championship. It was Levian, incidentally. Slight contact a moment ago into Tornantino, not Severukian, apologies. Levy in car 21 for Ginza Motorsport. This is Artem in car 23. Kenzo Craigie, fastest driver on the circuit in P5 ahead of this duo. Also for us racing, Ari Bansel and Ludovico Busso. Well, the question has been asked by our colleagues at Monza Informa. When was the last time we did not have a Prema racing driver on the podium in the Italian F4 Championship? Briefly trying to think, it must be quite some time. We go back to Misano. They started 1, 2, 3, 4 on the grid for the final. The top Prema racing driver at the moment is Bondarev, who's down in P9. This is Craigie. RHGP just checks the left side mirror. Fifth gear coming under the bridge, well into sixth now. Remarkably downhill, flat through the right-left kink at 236 kilometers an hour down into Jiminy 1. Crash, that's Roland Kuklane who's out. With Augustus Toniolo for the second time this weekend into La Curva Roma. Two Trident drivers involved. Roland Kuklane in the middle of the Trident duo. Toniolo. It looked as though it was Lupa Roykov just ahead who escaped clear. They are well off the racing line. This is Nud Nielsen. Needs to keep it clean, does Nud, who's driven brilliantly thus far this weekend. Wheel to wheel with Alexander Savinkov. The Ukrainian down the inside. Toniolo out for the second time this weekend. The safety car comes out onto the circuit inevitably for the second time. The 1 second lead of Lucas Amalisto will evaporate. Walter, he was 3 seconds off the race lead. Roland Kuklane, the driver from Tallinn in Estonia, out. We've had two quite good races thus far this weekend, but it has certainly come alive here this morning. Samalisto, Robinson, Walter in third, Severukian, Kenzo Craigie P5, the fastest driver on the circuit. It may well aid the Brit, the Mercedes Junior, closing in on the back of Severukian and Walter. So now a chance of a podium is Kenzo Craigie. This just a few moments ago. Toniolo on the outside. In fact, it looked to be Bernoldi on the inside. Roykov has gone on through. This is Roland. The Estonian is out. That may well be the end of the weekend as well for Augustus Toniolo. He joins the list of retirements, including Roman Kamyab, Kostoya, Macagnani, Ruta, and Roland Kuklane. Jacopo Martinez, two-time WSK champion, goes through, having a clean race here this morning. He's one of just 7 Italian drivers in the National Series. This is Elia Weiss, the German, who took part in the official rookie test for Porsche last year in Formula E. Currently in P10, head of Savinkov and Nielsen on the rookie podium. 12th outright from 23rd on the grid. This is the top Prema Racing driver, Alexander Bondarev, flying the flag for the team from Vicenza in P9. Severugian fighting for the podium. The dying stages. Race 3, round 2, the Italian F4 Championship here at the Long Valley Circuit of Vallelunga. Nielsen goes through. This is the real racing driver. And we're getting news. That's the ball game. The race will finish behind the safety car. Samalisto wins it. Confirmation to the bottom left of your screen. Samalisto will take his second victory of the weekend. Not in racing terms. Let me say that correctly. It will not finish under full racing conditions, but the points still count. Samalisto will win. Robinson. Walter takes the podium. For the Maffei Racing Team, Severugian, P4. Kenzo Craigie, P5, and takes the rookie victory. Bondarev on your screen, P9. The first of the Prema Racing Team drivers who have been decimated here this morning. Costoya out, Macagnani out, as is Roman Kamyab. 3 from 3 for the US Racing Team here at Rome. Samalisto will win. He just needs to bring it to the checkered flag behind the safety car. US Racing 1-2. So depending on when they cross the line, it may well be last lap board next time round, depending on the speed of the Urus safety car, which is capable of, well, actually a greater top speed than these Formula 4 cars in the right conditions. 25 minutes plus 1 lap. We're 40 seconds away from the end of the race plus 1 lap. It will be tight. Kenzo Craigie will finish P5 and take the rookie victory. Coming out of Semaforo Tornantino. The traffic light corner down into the chicane and the Roma curve. Ludovico Pulso will bring it home in P7. So the US Racing Team first, second. P6 with Barnsel. P7 with Pulso. Across the line. This will be tight. This is the last lap. Nicely managed by the safety car driver. Try and find out exactly who's behind the wheel of that magnificent supercar built in Bologna, not too far from the Imola circuit. Nicely managed as well. This is the last lap of the race. So Samalisto will win. There will be 4 US racing drivers inside the top 10. Walter takes his 3rd podium of the championship thus far. The Super Dane for the Swiss-Ethiopian Maffei Racing Team. This is Bondarev, race winner in 2025. P9 is not what the Williams driver was expecting. It's better than his teammates though. Kamyab, Costoya and Macagnani out, and potentially their weekend is over. So 43 drivers, just reminding you, down to the final 36 to make it through to the final. Savinkov will come home P11 ahead of Nud Nielsen for Real Racing. Macagnani yesterday 27th and last, and this morning out on the first lap. The Roman here in Rome, his weekend may be over. The same can be said potentially for Costoya. This is Martinese, bravo, il Lecese. Samalisto. Is he now an early season favourite for the 2026 Italian F4 Championship? US Racing 1, 2, 6 and 7 in race 3 of 4 this morning. So Samalisto almost certainly will start. In fact, he will start on pole position for this afternoon's final race. Severugian P4, Kenzo will finish P5. Barnsel, Busso, final corner, it is just a formality. He can walk across the line from here. The track still being cleared, as you can see. But regardless, the checkered flag waves. It is the Finn who takes the win for the second time this weekend at Vallelunga. Samalisto wins race 3 here this Sunday morning in the Italian capital. It's an us racing 1-2. Robinson, Mr. Ed, second after his race victory yesterday. And Walter for Maffey Racing on the podium in third. Severugian, P4, just misses the podium after fighting brilliantly when we were green with Walter. Kenzo, KC P5 and wins. The rookie race does. Craigie, the Mercedes Junior from Barnsell Busso. Roberto on the rookie podium once again. For PHM Racing, the New Zealander P8, Bondarev 9, Vice. Elia in P10 from Savinkov. Remember, we do pay points down to 15th in 2026. Nielsen again, the sole representative for the Romanian Italian team. Car 41. Nielsen from 23rd to finish in 12th after storming home to 10th from 26th yesterday. Head of Cortez, great to see the Mexican in the points. Martinez, and the first of the Trident drivers, Becco Bernaldi. Samalisto takes the victory. It's an us racing 1-2. Walter on the podium in third place for Maffey Racing. Nielsen, incidentally, there in 12th place, third on the rookie podium. Well done to Cortez for Jensen Motorsport. Martinez at Bernaldi, head of his Bulgarian teammate Luba Roykov. Polak Rodriguez, good race for the American. Head of Panseri, bravissima anche Jenny Panthers. Fogazza Orsini. Kralik does finish down in 22nd place. Head of Levian. And then the retirements, Kuklane, Toniolo, which brought out the safety car. Kamyab out. Kostoya out on the first lap, as was Macagnani in Ruta. Well, the US Racing team of Gerhard Unger and Ralf Schumacher, they've won this championship. That was with the pole, Kasper Stuger. In fact, they wrapped up the title, incidentally, at this circuit in 2023. But they are now the championship leaders as we go into race 4, round 2 of the Italian F4 Championship this afternoon here at Vallelunga. Incidentally, word from race control, Roland Kuklane, we saw out of the car. He was fine, and the same for Augustus Toniolo. That is, of course, the most important thing. Likewise for Macagnani, Ruta, Costoya, we saw down in pit lane. Furious, the young Spaniard has had a tough start to his debut season in the Italian Championship. We've had clean races thus far this weekend. Well, we cannot say the same here this morning at Vallelunga. Regardless, Samalisto takes the win for the second time this weekend. Robinson in second, and they'll be joined on the podium by David Walter.
Luca.
Quite a festive reception here at Vallelunga on a sunny Sunday morning here in the Italian capital. It is the Finn who takes the win again here at Vallelunga. Luca Samalisto from Tampere in Finland takes the victory. David Walter, third podium for the Dane for Maffey Racing, home in third place. Robinson, race 2 victory yesterday. And P2 here this morning to line up grid 2 for this afternoon's final. Samuelisto wins for the second time here at Vallelunga. Luca is down in pit lane, victory lane in fact, speaking with Laura Cola.
So congratulations, a second victory for you after a tense race full of safety car.
Yeah, thank you. I think the race went really well overall, like the first one. Get quite good start, could have been better, but just managed to get in front of Edu and then remained there for whole race. I think it was a bit hard in my opinion because Edu was really fast. I saw him on the mirrors, it was like getting closer, further away, closer. But then we had the 2 safety cars and finished the race on the safety car, so I think the race was again quite consistent and really good for me. And now we can start P1 for the last race, so I hope we can also win the last race.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Race 3 here this morning at Vallelunga. It was a wild start. The Us Racing duo first, second. They raced away into the race lead, but behind all hell was about to break loose. Walter making contact with Macagnani. Ruta involved in as well. Severukin sideways into the grass but kept on going. Macagnani into the gravel, damage and out. The same for Ruta. Iron Kralik going grass tracking into the gravel as Kostoya and Kamyab, the Prema Racing teammates, took themselves out on the opening lap. Walter around the outside, briefly, so briefly going through into position 2, but then off into the grass. Back into third place, where he would finish the race. Severukian just behind, trying to take the Dane for third, as Lucas Samuelisto racing away, building a lead of over a second. Towards the end of the race, the Trident trio coming together with Roland Kuklane, Toniolo into the wall. Kuklane into the gravel. The race finished under the safety car. It's an Us Racing 1-2. The German team has dominated thus far this weekend. Samuelisto wins race 2. Will line up on pole position for the final this afternoon. Walter, his third podium of the season, being presented the trophy by the great Mr. Giancarlo Minardi. Ed in second place. And the race winner again, Luca Samuelisto.
US Racing. E andiamo con l'inno nazionale, National Anthem.
Once again, the national anthem of Finland. It's been some time since the Prema Racing drivers have not stood on the podium. Well, the Us Racing drivers, they stand at 1-2 here this morning, joined by the Dane for Maffey Racing, David Walter. You know the red team will fight back, as will another 34 drivers, as 36 line up on the grid for race 3 this afternoon. Samuelisto will start on pole position after winning race 3 here this morning. Well, the Canadian Formula 1 Grand Prix is not until later this evening. Race 4 this afternoon. Join us at 3:45 local time here in Rome.